We had a guy signed up for Roy Boston because that guy got his water. Just because he had a huge house with him. He signed up to be in speak. We don't, there's no reason we don't leave it. Oh, that's everybody has a big base charge.
Yeah, I mean, we did one
Are we ready?
Yes, sir, I believe we are.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day, and we thank you for your presence here in this room. For we just pray that you are with us with the decisions that we have to make today. Let us make the best decisions for our city. Lord, we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Let the record reflect how council members are present. We will need approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Ms. Malcolm, have a motion by Ms. Malcolm. Second by Mr. Adcock. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? That passes. Need approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Little. Second by Ms. Crawford. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? The consent agenda passes. We'll move into a public forum. We have 3 people signed up for public comments. I would ask you to step to the podium and state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to address the council. The first one is Ray Bostwick.
Good evening. My name is Ray Bostwick. My future address will be 1750 Old Athens Highway. And I appeared before you at your September City Council meeting regarding the $3,750 water tap fee that I paid and the monthly water fees of $726.25, although we still have not used the double water yet. And on September the 19th and the 22nd, I received a verbal commitment from Mr. Monroe that the meter will be removed and reset when needed at no cost. On September 23rd, I submitted a formal request to the city requesting the monthly water fees that we have paid to be refunded or credited to our account. And we are still receiving water bills. And I don't know if the meter has been removed or not. As of today, we have not received written confirmation that the water meter has been removed, nor have we, nor do we know the status of our formal request to the city on September the 23rd, nor do we have a timeline where we can expect this matter to be resolved. So we are requesting, and we appreciate a timely resolution to this matter. Thank you.
Mr. Bob,
Yes.
if you will make an appointment with Mr. Raven here, I believe he can take care of your concerns.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sandra Shirley.
Yes, good evening. My name is Sandra Shirley, and I live at 208 Walton Street here in Monroe. I'm here to speak with the council tonight at the mayor's request. Mr. Thompson felt that I should not speak directly with him, but instead I should come in and speak in front of the council. I live on Walton Street in the Historic District on 7 acres. We have a dog, several cats, and 4 goats, which all are legal due to our acreage. Unfortunately, when you have animals, they do get out. And then you have to sit back and wait and watch and find out how they're getting out in order to solve the problem and fix or repair any fencing. On September 16th, I received a call from Animal Control that my goats were out in the woods behind 200 Walton Street and that they were being impounded. I explained that I owned the property, and if they had wandered over the line to the owner's property of 200, they had just sent me a text that was explaining they had been playing with my goats and had shooed them back into the woods. I was cited that day with 4 animals at large and given a court date. The fence was repaired, and the goats have not gotten out since. In court, Solicitor Paul Rosenthal recommended 2 options. His first option recommended that I spend 36 months in the county jail, or that I remove all animals from my property for 36 months. Mr. Rosenthal included in the case a citation of my dog at large in 2010. The goats are also family pets given to my children for a Christmas present by my mother. Then Fudge was born on our property with the assistance of my daughter Ava, who wants to be a veterinarian. My involvement in this city over the past 15 years that I have lived here: we have restored a building on the square via a downtown development revolving loan fund backed by the city of Monroe. This is where I am currently owner of my 2nd small business. I am a board member for 13 years of the Monroe-Walton County Library. It is an appointed position by the City Council of Monroe. I am also currently chair of that board. I am a trustee to the Uncle Remus Library System, which also is an appointed position by the City Council of Monroe. I'm a board member of the Historical Society of Walton County for 10 years and currently am a vice chair. I'm an ambassador for the Walton County Chamber and May Chamber Member of the Month. I am in the Leadership Walton class currently with several others in this room. But most recently, I'm involved in the Children's Park test involving goats to clean up the kudzu. My goats were in the park 2 weeks ago as part of this test. We have determined that the project will take approximately $2,000 in fencing and about 20 goats for 2 years. I have commitments for half of the money for the fencing and a cooperation to allow inmates to install the fencing at no cost. My intention is to put my goats in the rotation at no charge to the city, which will save the city a lot of money. We also intend to work with children in mentoring at the library and bringing them across the way to the park, to Children's Park, where they would be responsible, not fully responsible, but letting us know if there is an issue with their area of fencing. They would also water these goats. They would be there to care for a living, breathing animal, which is a great mentor, not only just teaching them with books, but then taking them across to the park for a life experience.
That is the time of the mayor.
May I finish up?
Just kind of synopsis.
Okay, I'm almost done. With all of this said, I believe that a recommendation put forth by Mr. Paul Rosenthal in the city of Monroe for me to spend 36 months in jail is baffling. I have not broken a law, but I have broken a subjective ordinance. I am here tonight to ask the council in the city of Monroe to drop this charge against me and my animals. Realistically, you are only asking my children to go without pets or without a mother for 36 months. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Nate Treadway.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I want to apologize for my appearance. I've been on an airplane since about 4:30 this morning and didn't plan to come here. I was headed downtown to vote and actually ran into Sandra and talked to her a little bit. I'm a neighbor. I live at 209 North Jackson Street. I just want to go on record to tell you that this entire situation with this animal ordinance really, to the neighborhood community, feels more like a personal vendetta than it does the city enforcing an ordinance on a consistent basis. We have animals. There's a dog on the same street that's bitten my child. I know he's come out in the street several other times to harass other neighbors. I had to kick him away the other day when I was jogging. And so I just want to tell you, it doesn't look good for our city. It doesn't smell good. And I would really like to challenge you to think about how you're proceeding with this particular situation and to make sure that there's no conflict of interest in personal prior dealings with Sandra. I don't know, again, I don't know the particulars of the case. That's between you guys. I'm just advising a word of caution because we don't need any more negative exposure for our city. We've had plenty enough. And I dang sure don't want my tax dollars going to anything that is not productive for our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, next part, we'll move into our public hearing. We have a conditional use at 1031 Charlotte Brown Boulevard.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That first item on the agenda, the applicant has requested that that item be tabled until the December 13th council meeting, so we'll just hope for you to entertain that request now and do that so that they might have more time, I guess, to prepare their presentation.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to table this.
To December 1,
13th,
13.
council meeting
Have
in
a motion
December.
by Mr. Richardson,
Second.
second by Mr. Adcock. Any discussion?
Just a question. We postpone something like this, does the date of the hearing or some of the public sign get changed or anything?
No, actually, those signs will be taken down. They've been advertised properly, and any concerned party should be here this evening to hear the table and know when the reassigned date is.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Will be tabled until next month's meeting. Item B is a variance for a sign at 127.5 North Broad Street.
Yes, sir. Like I said, 127 North Broad Street, requesting a variance for a sign. Just to read the background on the cover sheet there, it says that the sign is an existing, illegal, unpermitted, and non-conforming sign. Technically, it doesn't have any signage on it yet, so it would be a non-conforming structure. But they want to convert it to put signage on it. It was placed approximately 4 years ago, at which time I stopped them in the framing stage because it wasn't permitted. They didn't even have the post completely installed at that time. Over the last 4 years, it's taken on the form that it has now, and I was just trying to get it removed because it was not permitted and not conforming to our current sign ordinance. Let's see. It was also denied for a certificate of appropriateness by the Historic Preservation Commission back in that time. And just further, that it was heard by the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 18th. And they made a motion to approve the variance. That motion carried 3-1 to bring the recommendation to the City Council for approval. That notwithstanding, the code office's recommendation is to deny due to the fact that they failed to get a permit and they refused to remove it when requested to remove it. It's unpermitted and illegal. So that's the recommendation from the code office. We have tried to make some accommodations in order to allow them to utilize that area for signage by classifying it as a planned center sign, which would allow them 100 square feet of advertising area on that sign. But the sign currently exceeds the maximum height, which is 10 feet. It's currently 12 feet. It's 12 by 5, so that's 60 square feet. If they were to modify it and make it wider and shorter to conform, they'd have more square footage, and they could probably accomplish their goals of keeping all the signage visible above the cars. So if we were going to approve a variance, I would ask you to add those conditions that be modified to meet the height requirement. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer.
Okay. Is property owner here?
Yeah.
You can address the council if you would like to.
I've got a presentation on the computer. It's going to take me a second to pull it up. Well, I had a presentation I wanted to show, basically to show that my son and I have been involved in this town for about 30 years almost, and in 2005 we won the Georgia Downtown Award from the Georgia Downtown Association for the most sensitive downtown rehabilitation on the buildings that we're talking about. And I have two signs that I'm requesting a variance for. The first one is the one that Patrick mentioned. And on this, if he can get that pulled up, I'll show the reason why we need, the height on the sign. And the other one is the restaurant sign. So I guess am I supposed to address both of the signs at the same time? Or
No, just take one at a time.
Just that one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's a long history about that particular sign that Patrick's talking about. There was originally a sign there, and I thought all I was doing was making the sign better. And then that's when Knoxville came by after I was fixing it and asked me would it withstand a 100-mile-an-hour wind. So I got an engineer to say that it would. And then Patrick stopped us from working on it. And we had it covered in plastic for a long time, so I went ahead and covered it in metal to protect it. And then we have started this long process to try to get it approved. But basically, it's a metal sign that will have standoffs on it. And the way the cars are, this sign is in the middle kind of a parking lot. And I understand, the new ordinance about the different kind of signs, but in the middle of the parking lot, when you've got cars parked on both sides of the sign, and if we can get that picture, see if you can scroll down to that picture I just had you do earlier. Anyway, you can see that the height of the cars, that the reason we need the extra height is to get all of the people, and what we're trying to do is advertise our Broad Street people on this sign on North Wayne Street. See if you can scroll it down to the picture that I just took the other day. There it is. There's the sign we're talking about in question. I took this picture from the restaurant looking back north. And you can see, do you see the sign in the background there? Right now it's just a steel rusted box, but it's going to have stainless steel standoffs on it with 8 different of our storefront owners on Broad Street advertising them, because they have a back entrance on Wayne Street. They also have an entrance on Broad Street. But you can see, just looking through there, if we lowered that sign 2 feet, you wouldn't hardly even be able to see the sign. And that parking lot, I assume, in the future is going to continue to be busy. Like if you ride by there and, there's no cars in the parking lot, it's not that big an issue. But with all the cars in the parking lot, and that's the reason the height of the sign is that high, and that's the reason we need or requesting for a variance to allow the sign to be the 2 foot high, so we can get the name of the building, the Eulalia and the Nunley building up on the top, and then 8 different advertisement little plaques for our storefront. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else in the audience like to speak for this variance?
You do, Craig.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I was looking at. If you'll state your name.
My name's Don McPherson, and I've lived here since about 1982. I'm also a business owner downtown. We own the Gilded Lily, the custom picture framing gallery downtown. We've been in there going on 13 years. I'd like to just speak on the behalf of Jim Draper here. I don't think you'll find anyone that's done more for downtown development and the historic preservation of our buildings than Jim. Just speaking a little bit about this sign in question, years ago, and I'm talking about 6-7 years ago, that sign was an existing sign, and it was wooden posts that were rotten and leaning. And Jim just took it on himself to go out there and not change the height of the sign, change the width of the sign, do anything about it except make it better and not an eyesore. It was about ready to come down. So he went and dug holes, sunk it in concrete, put metal pilings around it, and made it something that we could be proud of instead of this leaning eyesore that was rotten. So he's not really changing the dimensions of anything that was there to begin with. And all that I think that we should do is go ahead with this sign. He's making it a lot better. It's been sitting basically vacant with a piece of plastic pulled over it and now metal cladding empty for at least 4 or 5 years that I know of, because we've been there going on 13. Prior to that, it had nothing on it. So we're not building a new sign that is just changing from what it was. We're just making the existing grandfathered in sign just a better, more acceptable, pleasing sign downtown.
There's a picture of the way the sign would look when it's completed. And you can also see the artist rendering. There are 2 cars parked up next to it.
Anyone else in the audience like to speak for this? Okay.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Lott. I'm the owner of JL Designs. But my business is there in Drapers. Let's go to the Drapers building. And I'm actually one of the only businesses there in his building that does not have a front entrance on Broad Street entrance. So that sign is very important to me. It would be my only access to the street to have a sign. The only sign I have now is right over my door, which is underneath the basement level. So I've been renting that building from Jim, the Drapers, for 4 years now. And all I see that they're doing is truly try to improve the area of downtown. And they've always done such a great job with that area. So I'm just, on behalf of the Drapers, I ask you to please give me a sign on the street. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for this variance? Does anyone like to speak against this variance? Okay, hearing none, we'll close this part of the public hearing and bring it before the council for discussion.